Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Niam. I lost 50 kilos. I moved to Bali. I found God. No one cares. Let's get into it. So in this video, I want to share with you the secret to losing weight and keeping off and achieving the body of your dreams. That's going to be point number 5. So stick around for that. But for now, let's get into it. All right. So the first thing that we really need to understand, and I need you to drill this into your head, take notes, get this point really firm inside your head, is that the world is an illusion. Lord Krishna said that the world is Maya. And what this means is that we experience the world through our senses, right? We sleep in a bed and we go to school and we see all these things around us. But that experience of the world around us is happening inside of our heads. And so you might look in the mirror and you see that you're a little bit overweight. And that triggers a thought saying, I'm unworthy. And that makes us feel a certain way. But the sight of our body is something objective, and someone else might look at the exact same body and not feel those same emotions. And so when I say the world is illusion, what it means is that it is just a projection of our perception. It is just something that we are experiencing in our minds. And so there isn't just one world out there. There's 8 billion, all right? You can take 3 people, put them all into the same room and have a cookie on the table. Now, those 3 people are going to see that cookie and have a very different experience. Like for me, for example, I might be a bit more tempted to have the cookie because I've grown up with all of these associations to sweet food and using it as comfort and craving sugar. Whereas someone else who hasn't had those associations is not going to feel that same way about the cookie, and so has a completely different experience. So what happens is, right, when you're a little child, when you're a baby, you have these pair of glasses on and there's no lenses in there. And as you grow up and you have different experiences throughout your life, so you have maybe your parents telling you that a certain food is healthy, or your parents telling you that for some reason you need to finish all the food on your plate, or for some reason that when you do something good, you get a sweet treat. We get new lenses that come on that form our view of the world, right? And what happens is we go to school and we go to college and we go to university and we see things online, and all these different experiences forms our unique view of the world. And so then any other experience that we have is filtered with our own unique set of lenses. As I said before, there's not one world, one physical world, there's 8 billion, because everyone is having their own mental experience of the exact same world. It's like your mind is a computer program, right? Through 25 years, I'm 26 years old actually, I've basically been going to school and they'll say things like, being busy makes you successful. Or if you work hard, you'll be successful. And then you see online, if you're in shape, that means you're healthy, right? Or you go to the doctors and it will say 5 fruits a day is really good for you. And so then you start creating all these beliefs in your head. And this gets inbuilt into your brain like a computer program. And the thing is, we have no real control over how this program is built. And I'll give you a really good example. I went to my cousin's house relatively recently and went for dinner, and my cousin's got 2 young kids and they're like thinking about what subjects to pick for A-levels and then go to university, and like there was this massive discussion about what is the right A-levels to do to get the right university, to get the right job. And I was just sitting there, it doesn't fucking matter. But the point here is that we have been conditioned, or we get conditioned to think a certain way, right? And that forms our experience of the world, because we get told that in order to live a happy life, we need to achieve material success, and in order to achieve material success, we need to go to the right university, and in order to get the right university, we need to get good grades in the right subjects. And so this creates pressure in our heads because we've created these artificial beliefs based on the conditioning that we've had throughout life that we need to do certain things in a certain way, okay? And I want to explain how this relates to weight loss in a minute, but I think that example is probably quite relatable and hopefully hits home for some of you watching. And so when we're growing up as well, we also create associations with getting in shape and being healthy. And like for me, when I was at school, one of the things at my school was that we were quite a sporty school. People played rugby, and all the rugby guys seemed to get all the girls. All the rugby guys seem to be the most popular with the PE teachers, and they get special privileges. Like they would have like special trips, they would get invited to go to Australia. Like all the sporting people seem to have all these fun experiences available to them, and everyone else was like kind of just left aside. And so it was very elitist in terms of the people that were really good at sport. Another example of this, there was a guy in my year, he was like a pro rugby player now, but he would always like just have this special undercurrent of value in the school. People would respect him more because he played rugby and he was fit and he was sporty. And so in my brain, because I've seen that happen, I then create the unconscious belief in my head that if I become sporty, I'm going to be more confident, I'm going to be valued more, I'm going to be more worthy, and all of these things. The funny thing is that in the Victorian era, if you were fat, you were actually more valued and you were more worthy because food was scarce, and you were actually seen to be richer if you were fatter. So Queen Victoria in her paintings was painted bigger than she actually was, basically just to signify that she was of wealth. And so this just shows that we get conditioned to believe certain things in a certain way, right? We get conditioned to believe that being slim makes you more confident, or being slim makes you more worthy, or being slim makes you more valuable. And I want you to wake the fuck up, because this is all just conditioning, right? And I'm going to explain in a minute why this conditioning actually becomes detrimental in your own weight loss journey, and how you can rewire it so that you end up actually losing weight and keeping it off rather than just bouncing up and down. Part of this worldview that we end up developing over time and accumulating through our experiences includes our own value of ourselves, okay? And so as we grow up, we start to create these associations in our head. And so like for me, as I grew up, I actually felt quite insecure inside. And I didn't realize this at the time, but my brother was someone that was very academic, and he was really talented as he was growing up. He did musical instruments, he got really good grades, he got loads of different responsibilities. And so for me, as I was growing up, I actually didn't feel like I was that worthy and that valuable, because I was like, where's my place here? He's already done everything. How can I do something? And then I went to the same school as him, I ended up doing the same hobbies as him. So it was like, I couldn't actually express myself. And so my worthiness was like, I'm not worthy. And so I never felt like I could impress anyone, because he'd already done everything that I thought that I could have done. And so as we grow up, right, we start to build this view of ourselves. And this is based on our wins and our losses, but also the way that other people perceive us, okay? And then what happens is we go on a weight loss journey and we start dieting down, especially if you're quite overweight, and you get all these compliments. And that's what happened to me. And then I started to construct a new image of myself based on the win of losing weight, because it was the first big achievement in my life that I thought I had. Because growing up, going to school, getting good grades, all of going to university, all of that felt given. But then I started getting into fitness, and because I was so overweight and I started to lose weight, it felt like a really big win for me. And so I was riding this wave of, yeah, I'm losing weight, I'm achieving something, I'm making loads of progress, and I'm getting all this external validation. And so that starts to shift my self-image in a way that, okay, I'm not feeling as unworthy anymore, but that worthiness is now based on my weight loss. And so what happens is I start to create an emotional dependency on losing weight. I think this is what happens to a lot of people when they go on a weight loss journey. It's because they lose some level of self-worth. And this happened to me. Like, I lost my first job out of university, I got fired. And as soon as I lost that job out of university, I got into health and fitness again. Other people go through a breakup, they lose that sense of self-worth from a breakup, and they get into health and fitness. And so like health and fitness provides this avenue for people to increase their self-worth. But then there is a real big problem with this, because if you start to become reliant of your self-worth on health and fitness, on getting slimmer, of improving your body, then that's when things can become quite damaging. Because when we want to lose weight, like I said before, we're not chasing our body is just an illusion, right? We are chasing the feeling of losing weight, which is giving us confidence. And so we're chasing an emotion. We're feeling a sense of lack in our bodies, and so we think that losing weight and changing our physical body is going to bridge that gap, okay? And so it could be a feeling of a lack of achievement, a lack of worthiness in the world, a lack of acceptance, a lack of love. There's so many different things that weight loss seemingly can provide. But then the problem is that when we become emotionally dependent, we put excess importance on the things like weight loss, which is something exterior to us. And there's a great book that explains this phenomenon quite well. It's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And he's a plastic surgeon, and he realized that some people that he does surgery on, whether to fix their face, fix their body, don't end up feeling better after the surgery, and that's because the image that they have of themselves does not change after they've had the surgery. And so someone might come into the surgery feeling quite unloved because of the beliefs and the mental constructs that they have built up over time. Even after doing the surgery, they still haven't fixed what's going on internally and still experience the same life. And this is the big problem with emotional dependency, because we go on this weight loss journey, right? And we say to ourselves, once I have a six pack, I used to say this to myself, once I have a six pack, I'll basically be happy. Once I have a six pack, I'll feel worthy. Once I have a six pack, I'll feel great in myself. But when we do that, and this is what happened with me, is that we start to do really aggressive things. We start eating very little food. We start to do lots of cardio. We start to eat less and move more, because that's what online says. So if you want to move faster towards feeling a certain way, then you should take more action, right? And we are conditioned to believe this, right? Hard work equals success. Take action, do more. You need to work harder. Like, all of this thing has become quite common in the modern world. But then we never actually question why we want to lose weight, because if we are chasing this emotion, we're going to start doing things so obsessively. And this is what I did. I obsessed over calories, I obsessed over macros, I obsessed over so many different things, because I ended up burning out. And the thing is, what goes up must come back down. Isaac Newton says every single action has an opposite and equal reaction. And so what that means is that if we start taking unbalanced actions towards feeling a certain way, that balance will just come right back at you. And that's why the yo-yo dieting issue is such a big issue, right? 95% of people that go on diets end up regaining the weight after they lost, because they've done it not out of love for themselves, but they're doing it because they're trying to fill a void in their hearts. And so they do it in such an aggressive way. Yeah, they might lose weight for a bit, but then they just go back to the same old habits. And once the rubber band gets stretched too much, snaps back to the original place that it was. What we need to do is change the reason why we want to lose weight. Because often we want to lose weight and change something in the physical world in order to fix something internally. But the physical world is the realm of effect, and the mental world is the realm of cause. And so what you want to do, and this has worked for me, and I'm sure it will work for you, is that you need to change what's going on up here so that you feel internally validated, you feel internally worthy, you feel internally confident, and as a result, your desired body will manifest. Because the universe is just a reflection of your own perception, okay? And so once you start to feel confident internally, once you start to feel worthy internally, once you still start to feel valuable internally, something beautiful happens, because you don't start taking action out of need to feel a certain way, but because you feel a certain way, you start to take action. Because you feel confident, you start to do things like go to the gym and be healthy and become that person that you want to be. And that is when the beautiful results happen, because you sustain them forever. Because you're doing them from a place of peace and love rather than from a place of insecurity. And it's taken me 7 years on my journey to understand this. And so if you can internalize this and go on a journey of finding peace, and by the way, you can hit the link in the description and fast track your way to feeling this way and book a call with me. where you can have the chance of working with me for 90 days to transform your life. But if you do that and you go on that journey, everything is going to feel effortless. You will lose weight, you'll get into the shape of your life, because the universe will only create something in the physical realm that you already have in the mental realm. Until next time, remember, you are the person that you want to be. Peace.